welcome back to our continuation on our Halloween videos. Today, we're talking personal favourite horror films, top 10. But Zach decided to choose another one, so we're going top 11.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes,
Why
so,
not today? One more for the Halloweens.
for the Halloweeners, yeah, why not, exactly. So, would you like to kick in with your honourable mentions there, sir?
I sure would, Dan. You'll be very surprised to hear them too.
Yeah, I haven't even heard of it.
So my first honorable mention is Orphan First Kill.
Very nice. You did love it, you did love it.
Ooh. I did actually. Yeah, I do actually really enjoy Orphan as a series.
Yeah.
My second honorable mention is The Silence of the Lambs.
Classic, yeah,
It's a
yep.
classic. Very good. And my third and final one was again a film that I probably shouldn't have watched, didn't need to watch, but you told me this was the scariest film, so I thought, well, why not? It is Host. H-O-S-T. Host.
It is good though, isn't it? It's a very good one. It is a banger.
Yeah. It scared the shit out of me, that, I'll be honest with you. It scared the shit out of me.
Good. That's what we
Yeah,
wanted,
very-
so fantastic. Cool. So
Alright.
I'll kick into my honourable mentions. I have 5. I did have 6, but we've changed that to number 11, so I've got 5. So,
Okay.
the 5th one is Pale. Pale of the X trilogy.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we've got the classic, which people consider the best, John Carpenter's The Thing, which is a banger, which is such a
Okay.
good film. Then I've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
the original, The Strangers. So I'm a big fan of the
Okay.
first Strangers. I think it's great. Then we've
Okay.
got Midsummer, which is a classic to me. I love a bit of Midsummer.
Ooh, interesting.
It's a banger.
Yep.
Then I've got Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, which I know you watched for a bit.
Yeah. Fair.
Big fan of
Fair,
old
fair.
Jason. So let's kick into the
Yeah.
top 11. Would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, why not? So my number 11 is, well, I've wanted to include it. Is it a horror? I
Okay.
guess technically, sort of. It's The Happening!
Woohoo! What a banger! Yes, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I sort of seen it and I was like, oh, I can't like not include this film.
Yeah.
Obviously we watch it for a disaster debate. It's sort of like a bit of fun, really. It's
Yeah.
not really. Is it? We did both love this film, and I haven't watched it again since, but I definitely will be watching it
Yeah,
again.
it's a banger.
But yeah, it's more of like a jokey sort of thing. But yes, The Happening is stupid. Kind of is a horror. I guess it is technically
I'd
a horror.
consider it, yeah.
You class that, even though the bad guy is Wind, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'd consider
But
it though.
there we go. Yeah, why not? Okay, it's The Happening.
Beautiful.
Stupid.
Beautiful.
The Happening.
I love it. So my number 10, I don't really know if it's widely considered horror
11.
either. Sorry, yeah, my number 11. Oh, yeah, sorry, this completely changes. So my number 11 is a straight horror film. Child's Play 2.
Oh, nice.
Big.
Number 11. You're going
Yeah.
to put it in honourable.
I was going to put it honorable, but yeah, Child's Play 2 is arguably my favourite of that franchise. I love it so much. And it has the best ending of any Chucky film. So yeah,
Mm,
Child's Play 2. Slaps, man. So good.
tasty. Well, go straight into it then, shall we?
Yeah,
We'll get
that's it.
into the... Now we've had a bit of fun. Bit
Yes.
of a laugh, bit of banter.
Bit of bounce.
Let's get into number 10.
Yeah,
My
let's do it.
official number 10 is... and one of your honourable mentions, actually, Dan. It's Pearl.
Ah, nice. Nice.
Yeah, which is why I was kind of surprised that you didn't have it in there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with most of these films, I probably watched them once.
Yes,
So I've
yeah,
just
yeah.
put that out there now. Like, most of these films are not things that I've, like, rewatched a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not a big horror boy. But, yeah, I watched X, I think, literally the night before going to watch Pearl.
Yeah.
And I just love Pearl. I don't even know what it is about it. I just think it's just such a good film, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, I kind of like the fact that it's light again as well.
Yeah.
Like I think X, is very typical horror, whereas this isn't. It's a weird one, isn't it? It kind of is still horror,
Yeah.
but it's more of like it is more of a character piece. It's just her, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
we're just going on a little adventure with old Pearl, and yeah, she is fantastic. I love all the little callbacks from the original film, all the things that we see happening in X, that we see how things ended up, like the car, for example, is one of them.
Yeah.
How it ended up there, we see that in Pearl, and yeah, just a wonderful film.
Yeah.
Kind of not really scary, a bit like psychological more than anything, but yeah, just great time.
Yeah, but with an incredibly fucked up ending. I love Pearl. Big fan. Yeah. Cool. So my number 10 is the one I was about to say. I don't know how many people consider it a horror film, but for me, it's horror through and through. It's Mandy. Nicolas Cage, 2018 Mandy.
Okay. I was around with this one, I'll be honest.
I love this film. So yeah, it's not exactly your conventional straightforward horror. It's almost more of a sci-fi kind of horror thing, acid trip of a film.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
It's crazy, but it's like perfect. And his performance in this film is arguably the best he's done in years. Like people talk about Longlegs, but this is my one for him. I love this film, and it's one of those films that I've introduced a few people to, and they just haven't got it or they haven't liked it. And I get it. I completely understand. It's such a strangely paced film, but as a whole film for me, this is fucking epic, and I love it. So number 10, Mandy.
Yeah, I actually ended up watching this because of you, and yeah, it's a thing.
It's a film.
It's certainly a thing. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so getting straight on with it then. My number 9 is a film and now a franchise that I very much fell in love with. It is Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes!
The original. Yes, this was something that I've ended up caning basically like all of horror pretty much at this point. And yeah, this is a film that I sort of come across. I've never watched them, and it's just fantastic.
It's so good.
It's just like I've seen this and 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, this for me, just with the original, just with the way it's shot. Obviously, we've got this is the young Johnny Depp, isn't it?
Yeah,
this is
the blood.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic deaths with that. Fantastic. Like I said, I think the thing I love most about these films, as much as the deaths are great, is just the way that they bring him in. Like how he appears in all these different ways, coming through the walls, coming through TVs, coming through just appearing out of nowhere, like just coming up as a small man and then kind of growing into it. Like I love all that. It's so ahead of his time. Yeah. It's so, even now though, I think it's still solid.
Oh, I mean,
like I don't watch it now and go, ooh.
No, it's obviously
aged,
still good. But you know that bit in the first one where he's coming through with the really long arms? I don't know what it is. That gets me. I don't know why. It just looks so weird that it like freaks me out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can see. I mean, you can see the amount of horrors or amount of films in general that it's influenced as well.
100%.
I mean, this is like one of the goats, isn't it? You know, as far as horror franchises go. So yeah, I watched it, loved it. Gonna watch them all eventually, apart from the remake because he told me not to. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, number 9. Big up the Frederick.
It is a banger. And looking back, I probably should have included it in mine. I and ahhed on this list for so long though that I just had to write things down in the end. So, number 9 for me is one I can't remember if you actually like this one that much or if this is your least favorite of them all. Oh no, it's not. But it's Evil Dead 2.
Oh, okay.
I love Evil Dead 2. I think it's one of those films that kind of... The original is a very good film, but as we spoke about recently, it's more of a kind of low-budget first attempt at something that could be great. It's a very good film. But the second one is basically... The first 45 minutes is like a remake of the original. And then it kind of goes into this bonkers thing for the next, like, hour. And it is non-stop. It's a great mix of comedy and like really scary things, and I think the way they do it is so perfect, and Bruce Campbell's physical like performance in this film is unbelievable. The bit where he's like smashing the plates on his head and front flipping around the kitchen, iconic. I love Evil Dead 2. So number 9, Evil Dead 2.
Iconic. Smashing heads and pushing plates on his head.
It's just like just going for it. It's so funny.
When I come to this franchise for
it
is. I think that's kind of, it was the second one where they sort of found their niche, I guess.
They got what
they
were like, doing,
okay, we kind of know what we're going with now. Yeah. Fair. I'm surprised it's quite low. Maybe we'll be getting more.
Yes, maybe.
So, number 8 for me, another one of your honourable mentions.
Okay.
It's Midsommar.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a surprise.
I love this film.
Yeah, it's a banger.
I don't know what it was. it's just, unfortunately, I love it for the wrong. Well, do I love it for the wrong reason? I find it hilarious.
Yeah, which I find
I do.
bonkers because
I
this
don't know
film
if it's.
scares me. Like,
I
dude.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be scary. Like maybe it is, but I think it's like I think it's so mental, so
Mm.
ridiculous, over the top that I think I just find it funny for that reason because
Mhm.
like the amount of you can't have. I mean, for the first bit you're watching, you're going, I don't really understand what's going on, and then you have the cliff scene, and you go, oh,
Oh
and I
yeah,
think that's basically where you'll either go ooh or go not for me.
yeah,
Whereas I went ooh okay, I'm interested, and then yeah, it just keeps ramping up. It's just mental scenes. Obviously, the whole buddy pubes in the pie is another thing that's
yeah,
just known for this film
yeah.
is known for. Which again, it's like there's things to it. Although everyone's mental and it's a bit of a it's almost like a light Mandy, isn't it? In a
Mhm.
way, like everyone's tripping all the time, and
Yeah.
you never really know what's real, what's not, things like that.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's just mad. I watched this like on a whim again. I watched this a couple of years back,
Yeah.
and I didn't really know what the hell I was going into. And obviously, the first scene of that film, you're thinking, you know,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a mad trip of a film,
It
and
is.
I love it.
Yeah. It's a great film, and I think it's one of
So
those. It was one of those experiences I had in the cinema where the beginning happened, and like 3 people left. There was about 6 of us in the cinema, and 3 people just got up and left. And I was like, "Yep, fair. I understand. I get it." But if you stick with it, it's so good. I love this film.
mm, mm.
Massive. So my number 8 comes courtesy of one of your new favorite films. I know you love this film. It's Halloween. John Carpenter's Halloween, the first one.
Uh,
Ooh, I know you love this film. John Carpenter's Halloween for me
yeah,
is the staple of the kind of looming maniac. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of the staple of that genre. This film did it best, in my opinion. I really love Jason, Freddy, all those kinds in the end, but this film started it and kind of perfected it straight away, in my opinion. I can't even look at you as I talk about this because I already feel you. Do you know what I mean? But I think the way they did this film was so clever, and it's basic. As I know you all agree with this, it's a lot of nothing. It is a lot of nothing, but they make it work, and I think maybe I have more of attachment to this because I watched the 2018 remake and this in a double bill, and I'd never seen it before, and I watched it in the cinema for the first time, and it just something, I don't know what it was, it just freaked me out. It was just so much. It was just cool for what they did back in that day with it, and I just really respect it for that. And I just love this version of Michael Myers in this first film. I love him, and I think this is a very entertaining, and this is my Halloween film. I watch a lot of films leading up to Halloween, but this is the one to watch on Halloween. So yes, number 8, Halloween.
great choice. Number 7 is a film that I didn't want to watch, watched and loved. It's Megan.
Yes, go on, Megan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the story going. I didn't want to watch this film. You dragged me in. I watched it, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is actually incredible." Like, I love this film. Like, I couldn't get over how much I enjoyed it. Like, it is weird, it's freaky, and she played so well.
Yeah,
Like, she does. Whoever the actress is and however they did it, like, it's incredible.
yeah,
Like, you
it is.
do believe that this is a robot. Like, there's something never quite right about it,
Mm-hmm.
but also like really human. It's
Yeah,
mad.
yeah.
Yeah, there's some fantastic scenes. Obviously,
The
the dog
dance.
running is just iconic at this
Yeah,
point, isn't it? The dance,
yeah.
the dog running. We've got so many like chaotic scenes in this film. It's not like the scariest really, and it's not like the goriest either. Like I think when you look at things like obviously the comparison is to Chucky,
Yeah.
and I think Chucky's a lot more nasty than
Oh
this.
yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah.
a lot. It's tame, isn't it? Really, there's still some great deaths in it, but it's quite. I don't really know what this is. It is a horror technically,
I mean,
but it's
this
just a bit of
was
a.
it's so clearly marketed towards the TikTok audience. Like this film, they
Mm.
were juggling between making it a 12 or a 15. So was it going to be PG-13
Yeah.
or an R? And they eventually went with the R rating, but I know with the second one they're going to push it more, which I'm looking forward to because as much as I enjoy Megan, there
Yeah.
is so much more they could do with it. So I think as a franchise this will become awesome, but I'm glad you love this one. I love how much you love it. So
Yeah, no, I can't wait for number 2.
Yeah.
I think letting Megan just go,
Mhm.
and just start like ripping people. Just Chuckier, isn't it? Really, as much as the comparisons are always going to be that you don't really want it to be like a side by side thing. I still think like it's a doll, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that's the whole sort of genre. So yeah, I think if they just run with it with Megan 2, it's going to be fantastic. But yeah, as it stands, Megan 1, good shit.
It is. It's very good. Cool. So, my number 7, I mean, realistically, if I could, I'd include the whole franchise here because I love them all. But if I'm going to choose one, it's the first Saw. First Saw. I think the first
Yeah,
entry,
you have a soft spot for this one, don't you?
Oh, it's unbelievable. And this is coming back to the cinemas 1st November. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. But this film obviously kicked off the whole franchise. And it was almost like a taste of what they can do. But the fact that they kind of they came out of uni, these two guys, they shot this just because they had a short film, and the main actor is one of the creators, and I think that's so much fun. But it's kind of cheesy, the acting's really silly, but it's got such a soft spot for me. Like, I just love this film. It's one of those like weird comfort films. As weird as that is to say about Saw 1, it just is, because it's just like, it's just so good. The way the plot plays out. Obviously, the story from here gets ridiculously convoluted, and that's why we love Saw. But as an entry point, there's not too much gore. There's just enough to kind of reel you in. And I think the story is interesting enough. And obviously, that twist at the end, it's forever iconic. Saw 1 is awesome. So, number 7, Saw.
Fair.
Massive.
That's a good choice there, Dan.
It
is a banger, to be. So, my number 6 is another film I have fallen in love with, probably more than anything else. It's The Collector.
This is the shock of the century. The fact that you love this film so much.
I couldn't get over it. Honestly, I couldn't get over it. I think it was something where it's just chaos, isn't it? Like, this is literally just horror. Home Alone, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, especially that first film, like the shots they do in it, it's the camera work, everything about the first film, because it's just in a house, and all the traps are incredible.
Yeah.
I think I love the fact that it's the protagonist, who I guess he is just the collector.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the antagonist. I love the fact that like him and the actual protagonist are just trying to outwit each other. They're like, it's not a stupid film. It's not just I've got you or you're dead. Like they're thinking all the time. They're doing stuff and thinking all the time. I love it. I love all the traps. I love all the setup of it. I love everything. I love this film. I think the collection. What was the second one called? The Collection. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
But I think it's that first film, isn't it? I think because it's so like tight. It's so claustrophobic in a way, isn't it? There's only really like 4 or 5 characters in the entire film, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just kind of have like their sort of story going on. It's mainly the cat and mouse game between the two people. But yeah, like, I love all the traps. I love how everything's set up. I love all the things they fall into, and it's just fantastic, and I cannot wait for more.
It's kind of that perfect thing as well, isn't it? Of just someone being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and then it all just kicks off, and I think it's great.
Yeah, and the constant like battle with himself to be like, I'm done, I'm leaving, which you would do. Like, I like the fact that this. My one bugbear with horror films in general is that people do stupid things. You hear a creak in the door, I'll go into that thing. You're thinking, no. A normal person would go, that door opened on his own, I'm out. I don't want nothing to do with that. And I like the fact that he gets out and then he sees someone, he's like, oh shit, I can't leave that person behind. I can't. It's that battle with himself constantly. So yeah, fantastic.
No, it is. It's a banger.
Peak film.
It is. It's so good, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. So my number 6 is a film I'd consider one of the best in the last 10 years. This is one that really surprised me when I saw it in the cinema. I loved it. Barbarian. This...
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's one of those films, and I'm someone now who hates watching trailers because they give away too much. Like, trailers these days are a problem. But this trailer literally had it edited so it looked like Bill Skarsgård was going to be the villain. Like, this girl turns up at this Airbnb. It's already booked in by someone, and it looks like he was going to be the villain. So I was like, oh, fuck, I'm on board. You get into the film, that's the first 10 minutes. And then past that, it just becomes this fucking trip of a film that I love. It's got the perfect amount of kind of twists and turns. The acting is insane across the board. Justin Long is hilarious. And it's like a perfect blend of comedy as well as actually being pretty scary. There's scenes in here that are shit scary, but then the next minute you're actually pissing yourself because it's so funny. It's brilliant, and the way they kind of wrap it all up is so good. It's one of those films that every year we seem to be getting these weird little gems that you can, if you're either into it or you're not, and this is one of them. But this is one of the best. So Barbarian, if you haven't seen it, so highly recommended. It's so good.
Yeah, no, a lot of people have said that, to be fair. I think pretty much anybody who's seen this and enjoyed this has tried to recommend it. So I'll definitely check at some point.
Yeah, it's good.
So we are into the top 5. These are the big boys. These were more easy for me. These are films I actually do like.
Okay, yeah.
Especially I like the others. These are the 5 that I'm like, okay. So, number 5, you will be very happy, my friend. It is Evil Dead Rise.
Nice. Banger. Such a banger.
Yes. I mean, yeah, again, this was another thing where you do not shut up. There are 2 things you do not shut up about. It is Evil Dead and it is Ice Nine Kills. I listened to Ice Nine Kills and I had to watch Evil Dead. So yeah, I watched all of the Evil Deads, I think, in the run-up. I'm pretty sure I watched them all.
Yeah, I think you did.
And then we did a double. Didn't we do a double bill of this? Did we do the remake? We definitely watched the remake.
We did, yeah.
And then we went straight into this then, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think. So yeah. Going into this, I was a bit like, I was sort of aware of what Evil Dead is, and I was just kind of curious as to what we were going to see going forward. And this is just chaos. Is this my favorite one? It possibly is my favorite one.
Fair.
So I think I love the fact that it is still funny in more of a fucked up way, though,
yeah,
rather than being like, whereas I think the originals are funny, like intentionally funny.
Yeah. I
think this is it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's not stupid either.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean the I don't know who the actual actress is, the main sort of girl, but she is incredible.
So good.
And I mean, considering like so much, a good like probably 40%, 50% of this film is shot in the eye hole of the door.
Yeah, so
cool.
So
much of this film is just there, where you just see like things going on outside, and everyone's just terrified of getting in. And obviously, eventually, they all get in, and you have all like the chaos then of the dead.
The cheese grater.
Going to town, and all they have the cheese grater. We have just them going to town, each other on themselves, and all that. It's chaos, and then obviously you get whatever the fuck that thing is
good.
at the end.
So good.
Which is just chaos. And then like I love the fact, because it pretty much ends, doesn't it, as it starts?
Yeah.
Because you end, they leave, and then it's like, I mean, obviously that whole opening act is
the best thing ever.
Alone.
Yeah.
Is incredible alone, and then for it to be like you watch a film to get back to that point. Was just, I can't wait to see more. This film is fucking chaos, and I love it, and I cannot wait for more Evil Dead.
Yeah, it's so weird, because this film took me 2 watches to fully appreciate, because the first time I watched it, I saw that amazing intro with the insane title card reveal. I was like, oh my god, I'm so on board. And then it kind of lost me for for literally about 40 minutes, and I was like, I don't know what this is. Then I rewatched it, and I completely got what they were going for, and I fucking loved it ever since. So yeah, 100%. What a great show. Cool. So my number 5 is the boy himself, Scream 1.
Oh.
Scream 1. I mean, all the Scream films are good, so let's get that out the way, but you're never going to beat the original, in my opinion. The original kind of came in with a new horror feeling and just set the bar high for what was to come after this. Obviously, there's so many films have tried to replicate it, and there's some good ones, but you're never ever going to top this. This is unbelievable. And to kind of have that, people back when it came out thought that, what's her name? Sorry, I can never remember. The first girl. They all thought she was going to be the main actress, and then obviously it turns out to be the opening kill, which is so insane. Such a really ballsy move.
Is it Drew Barrymore?
Drew Barrymore, that's her. So yeah, to have that whole scene, and obviously she was on the poster, she's on the front of the DVD, like, it's crazy. So to have that reveal must have been insane to see when it came out. But it's just the kind of perfect blend of horror and comedy. Again, I seem to have a thing for that. But that mesh is just so perfect here, and all the chase sequences are thrilling, and it's just Sidney Prescott is a character for the ages, and it's just this film. Without this film, obviously you wouldn't have the franchise anyway, but this film really knew what it was doing, and it's so perfect still to this day. You can put this on and have the best time. So number 5 for me, Scream 1, what a banger.
Great shout.
Insane.
Fantastic shout.
Insane.
So, my number 4 is... He's back, Dan. It's The Bride of Chucky.
Nice. Oh, Bride. What a choice. What a choice.
Yeah, I mean, the first one is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think, it's a good introduction. It's a bit of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I think from 2 onwards is when it becomes Chucky, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
So yeah, I mean 2 and 3 are still great, but I think like as soon as we start introducing the others, as soon as the bride gets involved, as soon as the kids get involved, that's where I'm like, I love this shit. Like I think once it starts going stupid is when I just love it more.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean this is almost the blend, isn't it? I think when you get to see the Chucky, it gets like stupid. Like it's a stupid film.
Yes.
Whereas this has still got that like. It's not scary, but it's sort of blending the two, isn't it?
100%.
Like Chucky's still mental, everyone's still terrified of him. They haven't quite like humanized him yet, and they just kind of added another person on.
Mm-hmm.
So they've just basically got 2 of these psychotic dolls just going around. I mean, there's got some incredible deaths along the way. Obviously, we have. I mean, it's the mirror,
the glass mirror,
the mirror death. Oh my god, like so good, so it is. I think this is the first time where it becomes like genuinely quite funny as well. They start leaning into the comedy aspects a lot more in this.
100%.
And I mean it basically sets up the rest of what Chucky is now, isn't it? Like without this film, Chucky would still sort of be like the little point of view shot of him, like running around and all that, Whereas now, I think this is the first film that properly got to see Chucky as like an actual character, I guess.
Plus, it's the intro of the scars. This was where he got the scarred up face.
Scars, of course it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's finally a bit mashed up and that. Yeah. I mean, it's Brian Chucky in it. It's just fantastic. It's a great film. I love this franchise. And I will watch anything that comes out involving Chucky.
You honestly, you really need to get on the show. Considering you like the sillier side, like the show, you'll love it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
No, I know. I will.
Cool. So my number 4 is a film I don't think I've really spoke about much on this channel yet. It's Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2.
I don't know why I was surprised. I was genuinely like, what's he going to say here?
I'm not going to go into how much I love it. I've said it multiple times, but Terrifier 2 is that new age horror that is really, really going for it. And again, just before I clock off for Terrifier 2, they just need to nail that third one. And this is the trilogy. This is the new age horror trilogy. Art is king. Terrifier 2, number 4.
Wow, I think that's probably the least you've ever spoken.
Had to reel myself in there, don't worry.
Yeah. Really yourself in. Gee whiz, you have a very tight line there, won't you? Alright then, moving on I guess. I'll talk again. My number 3 is a film, well, it's a series you spoke about, but I have a different version.
Okay.
So my number 3 is Saw.
Very fair, very fair. I know a lot of people prefer to. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think 1 is fantastic. It is, and as you said, all the things about it are great. But it's one of those that very clearly had didn't really have a budget.
No, not so.
They made it on like £1.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that they've come to this is the first time where they kind of ramped everything up. I mean, it's gone from just 2 people in a room to like 5 or 6 people. Yeah, in the whole house. The whole house is trapped. I think this is the first time when we properly see what Saw is all about, really. And I mean, obviously, we're getting a great twist ending. But yeah, this was the first film where you got the creative deaths, you got
Yeah.
the it's
Oh,
just nuts, isn't it?
it's a
Like,
totally
even
different
just the
beast
start,
compared.
it's crazy. I mean, even just the start, like the first death is so sudden,
Yeah.
it's so good. Like
Yes.
the fact that it's just it's something simple as look into a keyhole, you get your head blown off,
Yeah.
and immediately you go in, right. Everything's off now. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't do anything. Any door you're opening might die. Anything you're doing, you might kill yourself. And I like the fact that this is where they first properly start going into the people who have done bad things.
Yeah.
You've done this bad thing, so I will punish you
Mhm.
by using the bad thing that you've done in your
Yeah.
lifetime. I mean, obviously the one in the Inferno thing
Yeah.
when he gets burnt up, that is horrific.
That is.
Even now, that is horrific.
And the
That
needle
is one of
pit.
the
Don't
worst
forget the
things
needle
ever.
pit.
And the needles, yeah, the needle pit is for me
It's disgusting.
not a lot like bothers me. Needles, no.
Yeah.
Even thinking about it now freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably my favorite Saw 2. I mean, they're all great at this, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
this is where they properly just start ramping it up.
Mm.
From this going forward, it's just
Carnage.
go for it, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is a structure to it to a degree, but it's just sort of like just chaos from this point. But yeah, for me, it was Saw 2. As much as Saw 1 is great, Saw 2 is the one where I was like, hey, this is my jam.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like it is a banger. I love it so much. So, my number 3 is also a franchise you've already spoken about, but a different entry. It's the Evil Dead remake. So,
oh,
2018 honestly 2018 Evil Dead changed my life because I was not a horror person at this point. I remember my brother and my sister going to watch this, and he came back and he was like, that was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And I was like, oh, I need to see that. And I don't know how old I would have been back here, obviously quite a bit younger. And I remember we ended up buying it on DVD
10 years ago.
yes, so yeah, whatever age I was then. Would you say 7? So 20.
Sorry,
There we go.
sorry. There we go.
I thought you said 10. But yeah, I remember we had it on DVD, we watched it with our dad, and he had to leave the room. He was not enjoying this at all. And I was just sat there having a wonderful time. And every time I watch this film, it just gets better. And it's so much fun to put on and see reactions. That's this film. I remember putting it on once when I was with a girl, and she ended up having a panic attack, and I had to take her outside. That was funny. We obviously watched it in the cinema, and that was a kind of a wild experience. And it's just one of those films that just continuously I find so entertaining, but it is absolutely disgusting. This is definitely the goriest Evil Dead in my opinion. Rise kind of takes a bit of a swing, but this is disgusting. Like the end scene with the chainsaw is crazy. I love the Evil Dead franchise, and I'll always love Ash Williams in that franchise, but this one has no Ash, and it's the best one. So I think that says a lot about this film alone. So I think, yeah, Evil Dead 2018, it's as a gore kind of fest, it's unrivaled. It's so good.
No, that's fair. And obviously, the tree.
The tree, disgusting. I was watching that for the first time like that, shaking.
Yeah, fucked up shit. But yeah, I'm surprised it's not higher. But
Yeah.
I'm quite interested to hear your number 2 one actually.
Okay.
My number 2 is a franchise we have not spoken about, and you probably will not speak about. It is Final Destination.
Okay. The first one?
The original. Yes, the first one.
Okay.
Love this film.
Yeah.
I guess, again, it is a horror, really.
Yeah,
isn't it?
100%.
I guess, technically, I mean, death is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Death will always find you. Which I guess is kind of terrifying in a way, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because it's, at least when they're monsters, you're like, oh, it's a monster, that can't hurt me.
Yeah.
Death will get us all. At some point.
What a joyous conversation this has turned into.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? Like, the deaths in this are incredible. Obviously, we have the is it Sean William Scott?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes. Obviously, this is probably not long after American Pie.
I want to say it's the year after.
Oh yeah, so he was kind of like a big deal. So obviously, seeing him, everyone's going, "Oh, he's going to be like the main guy," and then just gets his head chopped in half. And I mentioned earlier about another video, but still my favorite death in cinema ever, with the woman in the house, the teacher, when she just gets, that is the never ending.
It's almost funny, isn't it? Like how much it goes on.
No,
it's
it is.
almost funny.
it's just like it's ingenious,
Yeah.
isn't it? Really, like it's so smart the way that death's done. That every other death, like before, after it, and even since, you
Yeah.
just kind of go, ah,
Yeah.
it's not really as inventive to go from a bit of metal getting hit by a train and chopping someone's head off to this woman that just has the worst time.
Yeah.
You know, she gets hit in the throat, she gets knives on it, she gets burnt. It's just like it's just chaos. I don't
Yeah.
know what she did to Death, but Death was not happy
Did not
about
like
it.
her at all.
That poor woman.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I mean, this kind of like kicked it all off, didn't it? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not so much of a thing anymore, really.
Yeah.
But I think definitely for that like early 2000s, this was it, wasn't it?
It was,
Final
yeah.
Destination, another Final Destination's coming out, and everyone was there
Yeah.
because of this film.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it, and I have watched this film numerous times.
Yeah, and it's one of those franchises that we've all had fears from. It's weird because they've always kind of tackled everyone's fears, which is really clever. So yeah, a very
Still,
good pick.
yeah, still to this day, if I'm driving down the street and there's like
Loads.
anything with something on the back of it,
Yeah.
I go into the next lane.
Yes.
I get the fuck out of there.
I feel it. I feel it.
I'm not risking it today, sir. Not today, Dad.
Not today. So yeah, my number 2 is what I'd widely consider one of the best films ever made. It's something I think I talk about the sequel more, but they wouldn't be it without this film. It's a very perfect film. It's The Shining. I fucking adore The Shining, and it's so funny because again, it's one of those films. First time I watched it, did not care for it at all. I turned it off halfway in. I just didn't get it. I think I was too young to kind of know what it was going for. So I bought the special edition when I saw it in HMV. It was cheap. I was like, I'll give it another go, and I'm so glad I did because it instantly became one of my favorite films ever. Not just horror films, like one of my all-time favorites. Stanley Kubrick, obviously there's so much drama behind this film. It's endless. I'm not going to go into it all, but obviously he's a very scary director. He kind of ruined poor Shelley Duvall, bless her. But unfortunately, he made the most perfect product that he could have because this is unbelievable. You see any of those behind-the-scenes footage? Have you seen the video of Jack Nicholson breaking down the doors? Like, he does about 100 doors.
Really?
It's crazy. I think they went through 120 odd doors to get that one shot. Like, he used to wake him up at like 5 o'clock in the morning with no warning, just like, we're doing it. So like, as crazy as that is, it's so respected because of the way it's come out. It's so fucking perfect. And it's one of those films that isn't like, it's not traditionally scary, obviously, but in its kind of what's the word?
Psychological.
That's the one. Psychologically way, it's kind of like the scariest thing you could imagine, and I love it. It's kind of, but it's such a good story as well, and it's got fantasy aspects to it, and it's just crazy. It's one of those films that you could watch in like 100 years and it'll still hold up because of the performances and because of how it's done. It's perfect. So The Shining, although I do love Doctor Sleep, The Shining is fucking amazing. So number 2.
Yeah. It's that like uneasiness with this film, isn't it? Where you never really know what's going on.
The score,
you never know
the
what's real,
soundtrack,
what's not, and
everything.
it just messes you up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's so good.
I mean, those two girls.
Yeah, that's probably where it started for you.
Terrified me, man. Terrified me, yeah. Okay, so my number 1, unfortunately you mentioned already, so I'll get straight into it. It's Scream 1.
Nice.
Yes, it is Scream 1. I mean, I will agree with everything that you said. Again, it's fantastic, isn't it? It is the best Scream. It is. As much as like we've had great Screams along the way. You can never replicate. I mean, there's still, even within the franchise, it's still talking about the first one.
Yeah.
You know, there's still sort of, we'll have all these other murderers along the way, like all these different killers along the way, but everyone still comes back. I mean,
they're still focused on Billy, aren't they? Billy Loomis.
Billy, that's the one. Yeah, Billy. So yeah, I mean, he is still the main focus of the film. It's just fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think again, it's one of those films where I think once things get a budget, it kind of goes either way, where you kind of go, okay, it's cool, but I think having those things, and it's a house. When a horror's in a house, and it's just in a house, there's just something about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's that claustrophobicness, it's the inventiveness as well the directors have got to kind of do, the things they've got to do to make it work within a house, and the ways they've got to do things, and how they've got to, they allow, I can't remember who it is, who just sat in front of the TV for hours when all this is going on, and just kind of misses everything. But like little things like that, where they just got one guy who just sat there just zoned out. Like I think he's probably high or something. Just watching TV just to avoid him getting killed. Obviously, he does eventually. I think it's just pretty simple. He just comes behind him, and it's almost as if like they've gone around this house and gone, "Oh shit, I forgot about you." It's just kind of like But yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. It introduced like so many characters, and as you said, like even just that start fake out, which has become like a staple of the Scream franchise. I mean, obviously, was it 4 or 5? Was it 4? I think it was 4 when they did about 6 different fake outs all in the start. Yeah, but it just become like a meme at this point, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, it's what started it all. It's my favorite franchise, and it is one of my favorite films.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is.
Full stop.
It really is that good. Cool. So my number one is arguably the scariest film I've ever seen. I had a really scary experience with it when I saw it in the cinema, and nothing's ever going to top it, unfortunately. It's Hereditary. Hereditary.
Oh, no, I couldn't do it.
It's one of those films where, again, I understand it's more of an art house, A24, one of those, right? And those films can go either way. You can either be good or they can be absolutely ridiculous. It's either way. But this one kind of takes the bones of like a straightforward horror film and then just kind of fucks with it throughout, and that's what I loved the most, because it's one of the most amazingly directed films to begin with. Like, the cinematography in this film is insane. It has one of the best performances by Toni Collette, and that scared me more than the scary parts. Her performance as a mum was the scariest thing about this whole fucking film. But then you get those scares, you get those moments of just pure terror, and yet literally as you're reacting, this is that film. And I'll never forget the way I saw this in the cinema. I was watching it and I was literally hiding under my hat the whole time, and there was a girl next to me with her partner. Clearly they just wanted to come watch a horror, and she was just sat on her phone, and I was like, how are you doing that when all this shit is going down? And I couldn't believe it. And it's remained the scariest film I've seen, like literally since I've seen it, and I don't think anything is going to top it anytime soon. I think the director's got so much working for him, and I just hope the next horror film he does really hits like this and kind of less like Beau is Afraid. So my number one, Hereditary, will always be fucking terrifying to me.
Yeah, I know. I honestly, I'm hard with this because I seen it and I was like, it fucking terrified me, but I will never watch it again because it fucking terrified me. You know, as soon as that bitch starts floating, I'm out, brother. I was out the settee, looking at my door like, nah.
And it's another one of those films where that bit is become like iconic because so many people find it funny, and I just don't get it. I understand it looks kind of silly, and it's a bit of a shock.
Yeah, no, it does.
It's so scary. It is the scariest thing. So.
No. Even thinking about it now, let's move on. That was a wonderful list. Fantastic. Scary times, eh? Ooh. Hope you sleep well tonight.
Yeah, that is our list of our top 10 personal horror films. Tell us how wrong we are, because it's kind of become a point at this point that we always forget films when we're doing the list, which I find so fucking funny. But I think this was quite a nice list to get into, so I quite enjoyed this.
I think mine's probably about as accurate as it's going to be. That's probably like the only 13 films that I've watched now that I kind of like enjoyed as far as horror goes. So I think mine's pretty accurate. Yours is probably a mess.
Yeah.
But yes, let us know in the comments your favourite horror film.
There was no Alien on this list, and I'm holding an Alien. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of crazy.
Nah. Yeah, it's kind of rude, that, isn't it?
It is quite rude. But yes, let us know what you thought. Let us know your favourite horror films, because it differs. It's a massive fucking genre, this, isn't it? Like, it could be anything. So let us know.
Massive fucking genre.
Our socials will be on the end slide. Make sure you follow us everywhere, because we need the followers. That's what we need now. Come on, guys, follow us over there.
Yeah, we need some comments. Leave anything. Just call me a dick or something. Yeah?
May as well. Everyone else does.
I can take it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And we will see you next time.
See you next time. Watch your eyeballs. Ooh.